Okay, this is how I build my gates. So I'm just making this gate about 1 meter high, and I've got two horizontal members, and simply put a board there, measure from here to there, and divide to get your spacings. Or of course you could do it another way, which is to measure from here to the end and then add the width of the board, but of course in this case it's simpler to do it like that. Spacing them out, then we've got 100mm up on here and 100mm up on there, and just screwing the first one and making sure it's nice and square. From there I'm just going around the gate, do that first around the perimeter, and then I'll put a diagonal in. Now another thing to do is when I'm screwing, I'm putting them like this to give, and of course the opposite side is like that. The ones in the middle will be come in like that until the middle. I'll do whatever works out with the spacing. That looks good, it looks professional, and the cross like this gives a better bracing element to the gate. Now I've got all four corners screwed up together like this, and I'm simply going to flip the whole thing, and so I'm going to put the bracing elements on the back. I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm just lay it across like this, and all I'm going to do is literally mark across it, something like this. So just get this for a second. So just simply mark across it like this, and then mark the board, and then I will cut it off and it will fit between. You'll see in a minute. Okay, so you can see how just cutting it, you've got a nice thing, and then nice angle. You can then just screw it through, and I will screw it to the front. But of course this one here with that, I'm going to use it for the other side, I'm going to throw it away. Okay, so I've screwed this brace in, as you can see here, and done the same on the other end. And now I'm doing the other brace, because I'm going to do a cross brace just to make it look quite nice from behind. I like just sort of trying to make a gate look good from both sides. So I've got a cross here, so I'm going to mark these again. I'm also going to mark across here, because my other brace is going to fit between, and you'll see why that happens later. Okay. Now, in case it didn't show you before, I basically lay this piece across like that and then just mark, so I can line it up with that and just mark to get these angles. So I do the same across here like that, and just make sure it's lined up with the other one, so that when I mark it, it's going to get the right angle. Okay, so now I've got this bracelet. These are actually just loose, but once I put these boards across here and space them and just screw them, these middle ones, these particular ones here, will obviously brace up. Now what I've actually used for these pieces here are palings. They're usually 150mm wide, and I just run them through on my table saw and rip them into 3, so they're pretty much about 50mm wide. And then I use a planer just to dress them up and make them look a bit better than the rough sawn palings that I use. That way you've got a relatively cheap, inexpensive gate, and it will actually end up looking quite good. I'll show you when that's obviously at the end. Okay, bye. Now here's a little trick I use. I just screw a board like this across the back, and then all these can just literally come down and hit it like that, and so they stay in the right place, and I just space them out, screw them on. Obviously working out where the middle is, I do that first, because if it's an odd one, I'll put, instead of putting the screws like in this pattern here and of course in this pattern on there, I'll just put a double like that. That denotes where I finish. So when I screw these through, I stay at that, and when I screw these through I stay on that pattern. Okay, now here I've started to screw, so I've got the middle one in, and then these ones which will follow that pattern. So I've screwed one there, and this middle one I just pull that down, make sure it's in the right place, and I'll just put one in the middle to hold it and one there. So now I've done that, I'm just going to go around through the rest, and I'll do the same for the other side. Just check this one's in the right position, and then once they're screwed, these are all just laid out, and then just go through and screw them, making sure obviously as you're looking at them that the middles look about right. Maybe just some adjustment by eye, but that's it. Okay, here's the finished product, and as you can see I just see the pattern of screws to just make it look professional, so they come through like that. You've got the front all screwed up, so it's just a matter of going around and screwing everything. The top is easy. I just put one of these screws here, just pulled it out, put a piece of string on it, pencil, and just went round like that with a curve, and then cut it out with a jigsaw. Then just dress the cut with sandpaper and just make it look quite nice. Okay.